I'm going to show you how to create a multiple baseline design graph using Microsoft Office Excel 2007. This is the multiple baseline design graph that we will be creating through this tutorial. Before you can get started, the first thing that you will need to do is to pause this tutorial, go to your Start menu, open up Microsoft Office Excel 2007, and enter in these data as they appear here. Once you've done that, you will need to create two A/B single subject research design graphs, one for Susan, which should appear on the top, and one for Mike, which should appear on the bottom. They need to be formatted exactly as you see here, and once you've done that and you've formatted your graphs and checked to make sure they're formatted exactly the same as these two graphs here, then you can resume with the tutorial. Okay, let's get started. It's important to know that a multiple baseline design is a collection of A/B graphs. So once you've learned how to construct an A/B graph, like you have in a previous tutorial, then it's really just about learning how to put these A/B graphs together so they appear as one graph. And I'm going to show you how to do that. The first thing that you need to do is to make sure that your graphs line up and that they're exactly the same size. To do that, what you need to do is take your top graph and make sure that it lines up in a corner of a column in a row. Like here you can see that we started this graph in G and 2, and it lines up perfectly in that corner. You're going to also want to make sure that the bottom right hand corner of that graph lines up perfectly in a column in a row. And then what you'll do is take your next graph and line that up exactly with that top graph. And it takes a little time to get it perfectly, but you want it to be right on, you don't want any gaps. So once it lines up perfectly, then you know that the width of the graph is accurate. But to make sure that the length of the graph are consistently the same across the graphs, it's best to count down and make sure that the rows are equal. Once you've done that, you can be certain that your graphs are exactly the same size. Okay, now the next thing that you'll need to do is get rid of the border for all of your graphs. To do that, you need to left click on the graph, then right click, then select Format Chart Area, go to Border Color, select No Line, and then click Close. Then do the same thing for the next graph. Left click, right click, Format Chart Area, Border Color, No Line, and then Close. The next thing that you'll need to do is get rid of the x-axis scale labels for Susan's graph. To do that, you're going to select the x-axis scale by clicking left on the scale, then right-clicking, then selecting Format Axis. You will then want to go to Axis Labels and select None, then click Close. Then click off of the graph. Now the next step that we will be doing is creating this Y-axis scale title. To do that, what we're going to do is go up to the Insert tab, go to Shapes, go to Text Box, and then we're going to draw a text box across the two graphs. Then we're going to type in frequency of stealing. Okay, once you've done that, you're going to right click on the text box, go to Format Shape, go to Line Color, make sure there's no line, then go to Text Box. For vertical alignment, select Top Centered. For text direction, select Rotate All Text to 270 degrees. Then click Close. Now you'll need to highlight that text and change the font size. And we're going to select 20. Then all you'll need to do is just move the text box accordingly so that it doesn't interfere with the scales and that it's centered across those two graphs. And if you have more than two graphs, then you're going to need to center it across all of the graphs. Then you'll click off of that. Now the next thing that you'll need to do is to create a phase line that goes across your graphs. To do that, you're going to go to the Insert tab, you're going to select Shapes, you're going to go to Lines, and you're going to select the Freeform. Click on that. Then you're going to start your line by left clicking, then drawing the line down. And if you make a mistake, like I just did, you just click off of it, click on it, select cut, and then it's gone. And then just go back up and do the same thing. So you left click, then drag it down to where you want it to, then left click, then drag it over, then left click, then drag down. Then left click, and then double left click to finish it. Then what you're going to do is format that shape. You format that shape by right clicking, selecting format shape, line color, select black, and then go to line style and select the 4th dash type and click close. Now if you need to adjust your line, you can do that by just grabbing onto the shape and moving it to where you need it to be. You want to make sure that it doesn't come across or go through any of your data points, that it goes in between the conditions. Once you've done that, click off your graph. Okay. Now as you can see, our graphs are formatted exactly the same. What we need to do though is we need to group everything together, because if you were to import this into PowerPoint or Word, it would appear as separate components. Susan would be a separate component, Mike would be, the phase line would be, and the y-axis title would be as well. So in order to group it together so that it appears as one graph, I'm going to show you how to do that. You're going to select the control button and hold it down. You're going to left click on Mike's graph, then left click on Susan's graph. Then you're going to left click on the shape, and you're going to left click on the title. Then, still holding down the control button, you're going to right click, and you're going to go select group, and then go to group and left click. Now it should appear as one shape, and what that means is if you move it, everything should move with it. If it doesn't, then just hit the undo button and repeat that process again. Okay? And that is how you make a multiple baseline design graph using Microsoft Office Excel 2007.